About a year ago, I did a review on the Canon R5 versus R6. Now a year later, we've shot about 35 weddings with these cameras, so I wanted to give you a quick update on my new conclusions. After my review, we decided to buy both cameras. And if you want to see that review, I'll put a link into the description. My conclusion of that review was that you should only really get the R5 if you need the extra resolution. If you don't, then get the R6. And I'm pleased to say that that conclusion still stands today. Of course, there are some differences between the two cameras. First of all, the body of the Canon R5 is slightly better made than the body of the R6. But for my uses on weddings, it's totally fine. The other difference is the top LCD screen on the R5. There's no on the R6, but I must admit I hardly ever look at the screen. In terms of ISO performance, they are almost the same. If you give me a blind test, I wouldn't notice the difference between them. Of course, the Canon R6 uses two SD memory cards, which is cheaper. And the R5 uses an SD card slot and CF Express. And the CF Express cards are quite a bit more expensive, so that's actually a downside for the R5. The burst speed is very good on both cameras. I don't know the exact numbers. I believe 20 on electronic shutter and 12 on mechanical. But I'll give you a quick demonstration. This is on high speed plus. Very fast and for a long time. Good buffer. Also very fast, and has a very good buffer. What I've noticed is the battery life on the R6, so the cheaper camera, is actually better than on the R5. So that's a benefit to the R6. I think on average on a wedding day for the R5 I use about 2 to 3 full batteries, newer type batteries, not the older type. And for the R6, maximum 2. So that brings me to the biggest difference between these two cameras, and that's the resolution. If, for example, you shoot a lot of wildlife and you need the extra room to crop, then definitely get the R5. If you shoot sports where you might not be able to come very close and cropping is very handy, then definitely get the R5. For weddings, you could do with 2 or 1 R6. I use both cameras. This has the 24-70 on it, the R5, and the R6 always has a telephoto lens, because I've noticed, that, which was also my previous conclusion, that I crop more on my wide-angle lenses than on my telephoto lenses. It might also be nice for me to talk a little bit about how it was like shooting with these new R cameras for a season when comparing it to our old cameras, the 5D Mark IVs. And I must say it was really a joy to use. The autofocus tracking is so great that I had it on face tracking, eye tracking the whole day. Only when it got quite dark, then single shot would work better. But overall, it was really awesome. The freedom to just choose something to track, then have it track the subject through the whole screen. It was just awesome. What I also really enjoyed was the flip screen. I often used it to photograph something above my head or from below. So that's something I also really liked in compared to the old cameras. In my previous review, I told you that there was a difference between the viewfinder performance in dark situations, that the R6's viewfinder was slightly worse, but after using these cameras in darker situations, I found that they actually both weren't very good when there was hardly any available light. They would give kind of almost a slow shutter effect in the viewfinder, which was really annoying to use. But Canon just has released a firmware update to fix this issue, and it's now under display performance, and if you select smooth, then suppress lower frame rate. This actually solves the problem. So I have just tested it out here in the house, and it looks really promising. I haven't tested it out like on a dance floor or something, but pretty good so far. So has my conclusion changed since 1 year ago? Not really, I must admit. They are both great cameras still. The R6 is maybe the better value for money because it's so much cheaper. So if you're on a budget, definitely go for the R6. If you should need the resolution, then go for the R5, but only if you shoot like landscapes or wildlife or sports and have to crop a lot. If you're starting out photography, building your business, and for example don't have a second camera body yet, then definitely get the R6, maybe 2 if you can afford, and invest in lenses and knowledge. So thanks for watching. Bye.